Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. Mike has to leave at 9 o'clock, so we'll remind him at 9:10 that he's late picking up his wife and try to keep him from being divorced.
That's probably a
Welcome,
good thing.
welcome to the start. Well, it's not great, Mike. Been there.
Yeah.
Forgot to pick up my wife at 9 o'clock a few times and ended up living in the parking lot. Just joking. I only forgot to pick her up twice at 10 o'clock.
Twice. So I'm
Twice at 10
one
o'clock.
away.
One away. You're one away. Ooh. So this week it occurred to me when you watch, Hardscape Instagram, which I've been a part of since it was nothing and from the beginning. And back in the day, or even say my whole life in this business, back in the day when people were having problems, people would always say, no one cares, work harder. No one cares, work harder. That's what people would say all the time. What?
Great. Love it. I love it.
No one cares, work
No
harder.
one cares. Work harder.
In 2024 Hardscape Instagram, instead of saying no one cares, work harder, and you guys can add some to this, we can spitball it. I feel like we could come up with some t-shirts here. Now it's no one cares, buy software. No one cares. No one cares, go on a hella skiing trip, mastermind. No one cares, go behind my subscriber wall. No one cares. Like it is no longer no one cares. The one thing that no hardscape influencer ever talks about is work harder. If your business is failing, work harder. Maybe you're not working hard enough, and that's why your business is failing. Every single person that promotes any kind of course, no one cares, come to my course. No one cares, buy my course. No one cares, get my coaching call. No one ever says, maybe you're just a lazy fuck. Maybe your business is failing because you don't get to site till 10 o'clock in the morning.
That would be a good reason for your
but
business to fail.
The reality is, at the supply yards, when I started, you would get to the supply yard at 6:15 and wait 45 minutes so you could be the first truck in line. And by the time 7 o'clock came, 10 years ago, there would be 25 trucks in line at the supply yard waiting to get loaded, all pissed because they didn't get there early enough. Now you go to a supplier's yard at 7 a.m., it's fucking abandoned. And it's not because everyone's getting deliveries. It's because everyone's still fucking in bed because, hey, it doesn't matter. I don't need to get up and do work because I went alpine heliskiing to a mastermind. So my business will be fine now. My business is good. I did heliskiing at a mastermind. My business is fantastic. I don't need to actually get up and do any fucking work because I got software. My business is good. You guys don't like that is the prevailing attitude. When you go on, don't worry, I jumped behind an influencer subscriber wall. I don't need to get out of bed anymore. It's all good. Fuck it. That's what it feels like to me when I watch it. Man, it used to be my business is in trouble right now because of a bunch of bad decisions I made working for people who never paid me. My business is in trouble. You know what I've been doing? Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and doing more work trying to right the ship. Not heliskiing in fucking the Swiss Alps at a mastermind going, yeah, I'm in a lot of debt. My business is fucked up. I'll go skiing. That'll fix everything. Like, that is not going to fix fuck all. You know what fixes shit? Getting up in the morning and doing work. Punching shitty numbers into software does not help you. If you're not putting realistic numbers into software, software is fucking useless. It's as useless as my yellow pad of paper. If a truck takes an hour and a half to go somewhere, just because you punch it into your augmented fucking reality that it only takes 45 minutes to go there, it will still take an hour and a half. And your low number will still make you no fucking money. You may have a greater understanding of why you're going broke, but it's not going to help you be profitable unless you get real about what goes in there. Too many people have multiple softwares with fake bullshit that they put in it that's not realistic. I can tell you that 100% because I deal with tons of landscapers across the board. Punching fake shit into software doesn't help you. I don't know what your opinion on that, Mike. Do you think it helps you?
I think it helps a lot. I think how many hours would software have to save you to make it worthwhile
I'm not saying
in a
software
month?
isn't no, but I'm not saying software isn't worthwhile. I'm
Yeah.
saying if you put shit into software, you get shit out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about whether I think software. I use your software.
You don't use my software, but you use
Oh, I
software.
do. No, I use your software.
Oh, do you?
I do. You gave it to me for free. Full disclosure, since we just
You're not
fucking
supposed to
talked
say
about that.
that.
You just told me if someone gives me something off air,
Off air. Off air. We
off
said
air,
this.
off air. You literally just said to me, if you're getting something, you have to say it so the CRA doesn't fuck you or
But
whatever.
that's if you're promoting it. If you're active, if we entered an agreement that you would promote my software, and in return I would give you something, then you would have to. In this sense, I never asked you to say or do anything,
No,
and
that's true.
if anything, you've dissuaded people from using the software.
No, I've used it. I used it to figure out my actual labor costs.
Nice.
I calculated all my labor costs for each individual employee because some of them like foremen have a different compensation package than laborers. And then the two foremen, their compensation packages might work out differently because one drives farther than the other and uses more fuel. So like I did but I'm saying if I put in software that all my employees make $10 an hour, and then I calculated all my shit and presented and went to my client and said, I can do your patio for $3,000. Like I saw someone fucking advertising on what the fuck are you building for $3,000? There was an ad on Instagram that said, I can build your patio for $3,000. I'm like, what, 50 square feet? You can sit in one chair there and you better not have any friends or family, you motherfucker. That ad is specifically designed only for old widowers that live by themselves. Anyways, if I put in that all my employees made $10 an hour and that was their full compensation and there was no source deductions, no fucking oppression tax, none of this shit, I would get every fucking job. And when I do it, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm getting every job because I changed to software. But no, I just put shit numbers in and I could write shit numbers on a yellow piece of paper. If you don't put in good stuff, you're not going to get good. But the problem is when software is promoted, not by you, because you don't ever promote yours. So this is not a mic problem, but potentially other companies that promote their fucking software, they promote it like it's the second coming of fucking Godzilla when Mothra's attacking. I didn't use a religious reference. You see that? I'm very conscious of the religious people.
Okay, so hold up here. Maybe an idea for
Sure.
some software company in the future, right? You're a new company. You're starting out. You don't have these numbers. You don't have the 20 years experience that I have or the 35 years experience that you have, right? Let's put in this software some baselines for people, right? Say you want to build a 100 square foot patio, whatever, right? Traditionally, companies have built this patio with 3 guys and it's taken them this many hours or something, right? Some bumper rails for these fucking new guys to use to get them to a point where they're profitable without taking a shit right from the start. And at the same time, keeping them in line with industry standards of what shit costs.
Okay, so and you mentioned something last time we talked about software too, Chad, where like what if like somebody did a one-on-one meeting where they ran you through your numbers? I do all this with onboarding new users. So I sit down and I work with them on a budget. And especially when we first started the software, we were more so in line with the people just starting out or the one crew business. And I actually share my production rates. So all of our users have my production rates. I always big caveat, I am on the more efficient side of things. And I say this to them too, like, don't use my production rates, use them as a guide, and then think about how you can use them in your business. Because for me, if it's just me on site, I'm on a piece of equipment. I get bins dropped off. I get deliveries for everything. I'm not having to jump in my truck and go to the dump and get delivered stuff and everything like that. So I always, that's a big caveat, but all of this is what I'm trying to do with the software and be able to set someone up that especially is just kind of coming into the industry to be able to charge what they should be charging for the work.
Yeah. So I
Do
think
you think that because part of growth as a company, in my experience, limited experience, is that you have to learn how to sell for a higher price. And most companies, when you start out, the reason you get work is because you're priced too low. And then you find out your price too low, and then you learn how to do proper sales techniques in order to get more money. Is there an argument that if you start out with the right price right from the beginning, you won't know how to sell that price and you won't get any work?
I think that sitting down with somebody,
should those two trainings go hand in hand? Is what I'm saying.
The two different training. I think that if you sit down with somebody who's able to talk to you about what a budget does for you, and it's not the end all be all, but it'll help you get in the right direction of what you should be charging, and then looking at your closing rate as leads come in and being like, I'm either not getting the work, or B, I'm getting all of the work, and then adjusting from there. And if you're not getting any of the work, it's either your price is too high or you just don't have the confidence and the sales process is off. And that would be my first starting point, like trying to figure that out.
Your neck tattoos distracting people.
I didn't have neck tattoos when I started.
Is that why you haven't closed anything lately, though? Have you thought about that, Chad? Maybe going to a turtleneck?
I closed one this week, Monday or Tuesday. Actually, Monday I closed one.
Nice.
I stood in front entranceway. Things are turning up. I got a couple repeat or return phone calls from clients from old stuff that they want to add to. Right up my alley. The people that I worked for before. Knock on wood, it's a shoe in. But
nice. Is that the one you posted, the pool patio there?
Yeah. We did that a couple of years ago, and calls me back and wants a whole bunch of stuff done. I'm like, I didn't know there was room for this much more shit in your yard. So gladly I'll do it.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. But that gives me a boost it gives me motivation in a season where I felt like we were just not getting anything, no traction anywhere. So it's nice to see some things turn up a little bit.
Well, Mike said, Mike said we didn't have enough controversy, so I've kind of beat him up the last 3 weeks. No. Mike said we needed controversy to drive views or listenership.
I think these are great discussions, and I think it's also good for our listeners, and it can be entertaining as well. So I'm all for it. Maybe spread a little bit to Chad too, though.
I just gave him shit for the neck tattoos.
Okay. Yeah.
I just leaned on him.
Hold up. Mike, your new favorite landscaper, that mock Jamaican guy or something like that?
Yeah.
My favorite landscaper?
No.
Mine.
Yeah. He's got a neck tattoo, the guy.
Oh, man.
I would say there's a disproportionate number of landscapers with neck tattoos.
That's true.
I think that's true.
As far as trades go, yeah.
You think there's less neck tattooing in the plumbing trade than the landscape trade?
I would say so, yeah.
And you think landscapers got electricians beat on neck tattoos as well?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. The less formal training required, the higher the level of neck tattoo.
I can see that.
I totally agree with that point.
Yeah.
The less apprenticeship status needed to achieve being in the trade, the more neck tattoos.
The lower the barrier to entry, the higher the tattoos on the body.
So essentially what you're saying is roofing and moving have the maximum amount of neck tattoos.
I could see that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then landscaping is next on neck tattoos.
We had this guy years ago, and I think I mentioned him before. We ended up calling him Tattoo Face, right? Because he had tattoos like all the way up to and including his face, right? This is the same guy who, and I'm positive I've mentioned this before, told the client that he had a swastika tattoo
Wow.
on him somewhere.
I
Or
love
he
how
didn't
simple the nickname is. Just tattoo face.
tattoo
Why?
face,
Because
yeah.
he's got tattoos on his face.
Yeah. He didn't cut it with us. He installs flooring now.
Oh.
So not far off from landscaping. But same low barrier to entry. So
Low barrier to entry.
yeah.
So that was my big rant. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Get behind my subscriber wall.
I think I'm doing something that that makes me equally as guilty here. No one cares about my landscape business. I'm pivoting towards the landscape daddy to try and generate some online buzz or something, right? Like, I'm not oblivious to the fact that you're talking about me here, PK.
I'm not talking about you at all.
Are you releasing a software too?
No. I don't. The barrier to entry for a software is way too high for me.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. Sell some of your equipment, you'll be there.
Yeah. I listed a backhoe for sale today.
Oh.
So,
how much did you lose the tree job by?
$7,000.
How much were you going to make on it?
I was going to make 30. He is now currently going to make about 17K. But $30,000 for me is 3 weeks of work. This guy is going to take him easily a month to a month and a half. $17,000 over a month and a half doesn't seem like a lot of money, especially when you consider you have a 10% bid bond that takes $10,000 of that profit and holds it for 2 years.
My God.
So,
oh damn,
you are essentially working a month and a half for $7,000.
Ouch.
And then you have to wait 2 years to make sure all your trees survive. Because if they don't, you're losing more than double what you planted them for, right? Because your planting cost isn't even the cost of the tree.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm happy to bow out at that price. I'm not pissed off that we didn't get the job, but I sure shit wouldn't want to do it for that price.
Yeah.
So
now you can sell the backhoe.
Now I can sell the backhoe.
Would you say the great thing about a backhoe is they're making them every day?
Are they?
If you someone's making them.
Someone, John Deere's making them. Cat's making them.
I'm just saying that, like, if you get rid of the backhoe you have, they're making them every day. So if you end up needing a backhoe in 2 years, you can go buy another backhoe.
Yeah, I can.
It's better than having it rot. There's always a backhoe available, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And nobody ever wants to rent a backhoe. Well, I mean, the city wants to rent a backhoe or something, but not often will a civil GC or anybody ask you to rent your backhoe because they're not good at anything. You put a little bit of material in the front, you dig a little bit in the back, but they're fucking useless when it comes to finesse work. So,
have you ever thought maybe you're just not good enough in it?
Potentially, yeah. But I also don't have any workers that are good enough in it. So therein lies the problem where we can't do anything good with it and then not make any money with the thing.
So why did you buy it?
Because coming up, landscaping, that's all we had. My company had 2 backhoes. There was no skid steers. There was no excavators. You did everything with these 2 backhoes. So commercial jobs, residential, everything. Like it was just these 2 backhoes. So I'm like, great, I need a backhoe.
We always had backhoes.
Yeah.
But then when we left the backhoe world, we had a E26 that if you propped it up, if you took the sideboard off the tandem and propped it up with the blade, you could dig right into the back of the truck with it.
Love it. Yeah.
So then we just moved from street tree to street tree with the excavator and the tandem. And then there was we moved with the E26 and the tandem, we moved from hole to hole, and then the skid steer with the forks brought the trees.
Brought the trees in, brought
Yeah.
the topsoil afterwards. Yeah. I think it's a much more efficient setup. But
So maybe you'll part ways with the backhoe, never to return.
maybe there's a couple civil companies in our city who will not touch a backhoe. They're all loaders and shovels.
Yeah.
Which I can get behind that. But I was driving around today, and there was one of those, those guys who just own a backhoe. They're like the backhoe guys, right? And then they hire some guy with his dump trailer or something. And you see the backhoe sitting there on the front lawn like a dog having a shit with its stabilizers out and the bucket propped up so the whole thing is off the ground.
Yeah.
And he's just digging wildly and swinging it into the back of this dump trailer. Like, this guy looks ridiculous. And he's making a giant mess of the lawn. Like, the
you
guys...
thought to yourself, if I had a grib,
if I had a grib,
I could swing it around 6 times, make an Instagram video, and get nothing on the lawn.
And get nothing on the lawn. No mess, no anything. Clean my way out. Because that's the other thing. These guys with the backhoes never are the ones that clean their way out. No. Right? It's just a giant mess, and they leave it.
So. Yeah. I remember the first time I dug a pool, or one of the first times. At the end of the day, I was like sweeping the road and fucking putting up fencing. And the guy I dug the pool was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, sweeping the road, cleaning up, getting the fencing so it's safe. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. Let's go to the bar. And we just drove off. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's a guy who owns a backhoe.
But like, yeah, he would have been a backhoe guy for sure. I was like, okay, do we care? He's like, it's not our job site. Someone falls in the pool. That's someone else's fucking problem. I was like, okay, then. We don't care about this at all. Perfect. We're good to go.
Exactly the type of person who owns a backhoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy does 100% own a backhoe too.
Yeah.
And it's a Case 4-stick.
Oh, a 4-stick. I had a 4-stick.
If you're running a Case 4-stick, you are OG.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love it. I used to run this loader for when I did snow. It was a 2-stick loader. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah, I ran 2-stick.
One to go back and forth, and one to go
Case
up and down.
W30.
I was in a New Holland. Nice machine. It was a dinosaur, but it was good. Once I got stranded in it, I had no coat on. The heat turned off, and I was stuck like kilometers from anything in the middle of the night, hoping someone would get to me before.
And that's when everyone said, no one cares if you don't have heat.
Yeah, no one cares if you don't have
Back in the day, they were like, we don't care if you don't have heat.
Well, I did until the loader shit the bed, and then there was no heat. But if you've ever been in a snow machine in the winter, you don't wear a coat. Like, you're always in a t-shirt or in most a sweatshirt, but you're not properly dressed to get out of the vehicle.
No, you're not.
Ever. Because there's no right temperature.
You could be wearing Crocs. It was the middle of the night. You staggered out of bed. You got into the thing. You're plowing the fucking snow. You get out. You realize, holy fuck, I'm wearing Crocs.
Wearing Crocs. Steel-toe Crocs.
I am getting absolutely beat up on Instagram because a couple of my new videos have AI voiceovers.
I heard that.
And there's this fucking guy and I'm like, what do you like? I was like, don't follow me. And he's like, I don't follow you. All right. Well, I don't know what you want me to say.
Wow.
He says it's lazy. I'm being lazy. And I'm like, okay, well, I make a lot of videos. And I'm just putting this out there. I make a lot of videos. We all know that. So to make the tree lifting video with AI, I got to shoot the video. I got to load the video into CapCut. I need to go to ChatGPT. I need to get ChatGPT to write me 1,000 words on how locust trees flying around Toronto are causing major problems. Then I need to take that ChatGPT to 11 Lab, download it into the voice simulator. Then I need to take that file and put that file into my files on my phone. Then I need to download that file into CapCut. Then I need to turn on the captions. Then I have to take the CapCut video and put it onto Instagram. No, then I have to save the CapCut video onto my phone and then take the CapCut video and put it on Instagram. That guy thinks that that's lazy. Or I can hit play and do 90 seconds on the new Frito-Lay chili cheese Jack Link sausage, hit stop, and then post it to fucking Instagram. And the guy thinks that takes more effort and time. Which process do you guys think I do faster? The 15-step creating video process or the eating the chili cheese Frito-Lay flavored Jack Link's new sausage and then making a review of it? I honestly believe that although I am using an AI voice generator and a chat GTP, obviously AI written content, I don't think the video is lazy. It takes a lot of time and effort. How many of those videos have you made, Chad?
0. None.
Mike, how many have you made?
None.
You know why? It's complex and it's painful.
It is complex. And I'm surprised that you got through that whole thing whenever
I
you
was
can't
just
even
about to say the
e-transfer money.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted to make one because I was fascinated with them on TikTok. There's a lot of them. And I was fascinated by the voice and I thought the voice was cool. And I'm like, how are people getting this voice? So
I do like that voice.
Is that voice's name Andrew?
Adam.
Oh, it's Adam.
Adam. Yeah.
Just because I see people talking about how Andrew's so great.
There might be an Andrew voice. I've been using the Adam one. That's that one that I've been using. And I accidentally used the Rachel voice about whether you should be spreading soil or not.
Okay. I saw it on your YouTube channel, so I left a comment. Oh, Andrew's great.
Nice. So I don't think that, although you could argue that it's not my voice doing the narration and it's not stuff that I wrote, it's chat GTP. It was my idea to make a video about flying trees in Toronto. So it was still my idea. And I don't think the video was lazy. I think it took time and effort. And I think it's a better video. And I started like this guy that's harassing me. I felt like saying to him, have you ever bought Pepsi? I seriously doubt the president of Pepsi makes all their ads.
True.
So does that mean their ads are lazy? The president of Pepsi or the president of Coke didn't sit down and fucking cartoon the polar bears. Or, do that, whatever they call that kind of like Toy Story. It's not AI.
Computer animate.
Yeah. So the president of Coke didn't make the computer generated polar bears that they use to advertise Coke. Does that make him lazy? I don't think so. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it for something that no one really cares about.
I think the troll got under your skin today.
I think so.
No, I've basically been arguing back and forth with the guy because arguments are great to push the video up.
True, yeah.
And the only reason I made the AI generated content was because the algorithms love AI generated content right now. So since I did that, my views have been going up.
On YouTube, you have to now say that there's AI generated content in your videos. You actually have to, before uploading it, make it clear. Yeah. Because what people are doing is they're just generating, they're doing kind of what you're doing, but just getting stock imagery, stock video, and getting AI to create a list, like a top 10 list of facts about foxes. And then they get stock video of foxes, and then they just put it together and they make a video. And then they just do that in mass and make channels around that.
And then if someone YouTube's foxes, that video with 10 AI facts about foxes comes up.
Exactly. It'll be interesting what happens with AI in the future.
Maybe I am cheating the system.
Well, it's your video though. Right? And it's your story. But people are just taking stock video and putting AI voice on top of it and just releasing as much as they possibly can. Because all of this will catch up. Like all of this, YouTube will make, in just what they did now is you have to make sure that it's known that it's generated with AI. Because people will click on top 10 facts about Fox, right? Foxes and all
Yes.
these different things. So it's all short term based with this. The thing, if you want to be long term, it's always the hard way. It's always whatever takes the most amount of time and most amount of effort. But there will be short term money that's made with AI this way for sure.
So I sent this guy back a thing that said, "How do you know this isn't my voice?" Maybe I'm the voiceover guy. And he's like, "Bro, just admit defeat for real. We both know this is AI voiceover. If I ever follow this account, my expectation would be lazy ads. Why are you pretending this isn't lazy, cost efficient way of advertising?"
Ride the wave with the guy.
Well, maybe we should respond right here on the fucking podcast.
Maybe we should have him on the podcast.
Bro,
in real time.
Bro, I'm not your brother. I don't think we are related in any way. Maybe we should, what's that thing called that does the it finds your lineage?
Ancestry.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Ancestry, DNA or something. Yeah.
Maybe we should get Ancestry to check our DNA. I've always
this is great content.
Wanted mouthy wanted a brother.
I hope people are listening in times 2.
I hope so too.
Whatever. Well, you guys can talk while I do this. I'm not. It's not the fucking Paper King show.
I had a moment today where I really, more than ever in my life, wish I had a tilt rotator on my big shovel.
Ooh.
And we're gonna get a bit sad here for a second, but I could have really used that tilt rotator. We had to put my dog down today. And yeah, he was a big, like a 90-pound bull terrier, right? So I had put him down, got him in the back of the truck. I had to take him out of the truck. I pre-dug a hole with the 20-ton shovel, and I had to get him into the bucket of the 20-ton shovel so that I could walk it over and place him in the hole, right? And I maneuvered the truck sort of close, but I really wish that bucket would spin around. So all I had to do is pull it over, but I ended up having to manhandle this big dog in his big bed and like swing him 360 around and plop him in the bucket. Well, I'm like, oh man, it would have been so much easier with a tilt rotator.
This all sounds like a horrible experience.
It was fucking awful. Like, I don't know how you make it any less awful. And I think this is the absolute worst point of the worst part of having a pet. You know, it's probably the second saddest day of my life. But the tilt rotator would have made it a little better, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I mean, we're back to doing things without a tilt rotator that we're spoiled now. We have to go back to manhandling shit.
Can you put a tilt rotator on a backhoe?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah?
But the problem is backhoes aren't good at anything, right?
Yeah.
And instead of being able to swing all the way around, you can only swing the boom back and forth. So will it be better than a regular backhoe bucket? Yeah, but I don't think you're getting your $50,000 worth by putting it on, you know.
Chad, what's behind the decision to go through Landscape Daddy and start a YouTube channel and all that?
I don't know. It's just it might be fun. Like I really don't know what we're gonna post or whatever, but I got myself a GoPro and and set up on jobs and stuff like that. Just I'm good at doing a lot of stuff half-ass, so um, this will probably be just another way for us to do things half-ass. And maybe it's a hobby, maybe I get good at it, or maybe not, and it's just the bed. But I don't know. I figure because we don't have quite as much work as we've had in the past, I can take my foot off the gas a bit and try something new
Yeah.
while the guys are still performing on site, right?
Would you say that you have like characters in your crew? People with personalities?
Maybe too much personality, yeah.
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 Because I feel
Yeah.
like there's one guy on YouTube who just like exploded, and he's a concrete guy, and all he does is he just wears his GoPro on his hat and goes about his day.
Oh
And
yeah.
and I feel like that's like a perfect way for you to do your YouTube channel.
Have to
It
wear it.
requires minimal editing, so you just like maybe set up another GoPro that's a time lapse and have that always going, but always have the GoPro recording on your head. Get home at the end of the day, just chop it into like a half an hour, 1 hour video with like the best
Hmm.
parts. Put the time
Yeah,
lapse whenever you need it,
that's
and
neat. Yeah.
he exploded. He's got like 500,000 followers, I think
I
now or
love
something
it.
like
Yeah.
that.
What does he
Yeah.
do?
He's a concrete guy,
Hmm. I like that idea.
and he only started like a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I'm definitely a fan of minimal effort. Actually, I think Ray-Ban has those glasses. You can like live stream from your glasses or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, something neat like that. But
Yeah, I
I
think
wonder,
that's like, especially when you have the personalities in your crew, I think that's the perfect way to, because that's why people watch, right? It's not just about
yeah,
like the work, and that can be satisfying too to watch and everything like that, but it's also the struggles, the day to day, and that's where you get like that wide audience as opposed to just like hardscapers
yeah,
watching.
Mm,
yeah. Like a landscape soap opera.
Yes, yeah.
a
Yeah, we gotta,
landscape soap opera.
Mhm.
yeah, hmm. Yeah. So it's another thing to add to the list of things we don't do well is YouTube. I haven't set up my. I didn't know I had to buy an
SIM card,
SD card,
SD
so that's
card,
in the
yeah,
mail. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna try this thing out.
nice.
Yeah, and maybe I'll get a couple more. We'll have them everywhere. I got one of those monkey things there that
Oh yeah.
goes around. So maybe I'll put that on my head. That's a good way to get things
They've
to.
got straps. They've got a like a GoPro thing. You can buy it on
Okay.
Amazon. You don't even need
Yeah.
don't buy like the Amazon one. Just buy
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the no name or whatever. It's the same thing.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I'll take an Amazon shopping spree. I'm using my landscape business to prop up the Landscape Daddy account, right? Because all this money comes from all this money. All
Yeah.
the money that I'm using comes from natural design, right?
Yeah.
So
I look at it as like a good
I,
long term play, especially if you're going to be in the business long term, to create a brand that's online as opposed to just offline, and get people that are interested in your business, not just leads, but also employees in the future. Um, and also, you get paid for it too. So you don't have to pay.
so do you think it's a bad idea then to link the Landscape Daddy with natural design? Because up to this point, I've tried so hard to separate the two, right? Because I'm a little abrasive
Yeah. I
on
think that there's
here
just
and
always going to be overlap, right? And what I do,
yeah,
exactly what I do is I am a hardscaper, which is just me. And then I've got like ever after landscaping, right? And
yeah.
I'll wear an ever after landscaping hat. I'll have ever after landscaping shirts and stuff. But I won't promote ever after landscaping beyond that on I am a hardscaper. So they are two kind of completely separate, but they serve a similar purpose.
Well,
And I think it's
NDL
always best to
feeds,
be
yeah.
you too.
Yeah. Yeah. The problem is I'm not all that likable to
I
clients.
well,
So well, I shouldn't say that. Um I get on really well with some and others I just don't. Right.
so
But I mean,
here's that other thing with that other YouTube channel I was talking about, the concrete guy. He is very family friendly. So
mhm.
even though the guys might be swearing on site and stuff, he doesn't include that in there.
That's why I will never have a successful YouTube or Instagram channel.
Maybe not. There are successful YouTube channels that are crass
So,
by
but
nature.
when
I
did
don't think it's
being
crass.
real become a bad thing?
Well, I think if you are real, you will find an audience, right? As opposed to trying to be somebody that you're not, which is short-term thinking, I think. If you are real, you will find your audience. It might take longer, it might blah blah blah, but eventually like you'll find your audience and people will be drawn to you for that.
People want reality TV that's not real, essentially, right?
I saw this thing
That's
today from CNN, and so Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. In Brazil, there's an election, and the Brazilian government asked Twitter to repress the right wing party and not allow them to post on Twitter. And Elon Musk said, no, they're a political party. They're registered, like they're going to post on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And CNN did a huge story on how Elon Musk was trying to influence the Brazilian election.
Wow.
And how it's a real problem and he's really influencing it. And all he's doing is giving everyone the same platform that's running for government.
he's leveling the playing field.
But it's not opposed, it's opposed to CNN's extreme left-wing viewpoint. So CNN is now saying that he's having a real, he is manipulating the Brazilian election for real, and it's a real problem. But none of it is real. He's not manipulating it. He's actually creating a more open election. But because they disagree with it in their reality, he's manipulating it. Because it could cause them, their extreme left-wing party, to not win. And because no one gives a fuck about CNN in Brazil, there's nothing they can do about it.
I don't think anyone gives a fuck about
Well, I was
CNN
going to say,
in
from
America.
the rating, yeah, from the ratings, no one gives a fuck about CNN anyways. But it's interesting that you're talking about what's real and what isn't, and when was it bad to be real? Well, like, it depends. Like, reality changes. There used to be a steady reality there was a reality that everyone lived in. But over the last 5 years, there's no reality anymore. People are bunny rabbits. Fucking, like, it doesn't, like, there's no reality anymore. So what is real anymore? There's nothing that's not, like, nothing is real. It doesn't matter what it is.
What's real on Instagram?
Who knows? I don't know. What do you think is real on Instagram?
I don't know. I just thought that might open up discussion, but
who knows what's real on Instagram? It's pretty hard to fucking tell. I
Maybe
talked
you
about
really
that 2 weeks
are.
ago.
Maybe you really are related to this guy on the internet.
Yeah.
After your ancestry DNA.
I could absolutely be related to that guy. I don't. I said that a couple weeks ago, though. Like, everyone should be wary of anyone who, like, go have your own experience with things before you buy them, or before you believe in them, or before you, like, because I don't remember the last time I saw it's very rare nowadays to see a landscaping or hardscaping account that's trying to sell hardscaping.
Do you think that homeowners go to Instagram to find their landscaper?
No, I think 5 out of every 10 hardscaping accounts that exist are trying to sell courses and shit to other hardscapers or programs, or their content is made for other hardscapers directly so that they can make money off it one day. Like, well, that's what Landscape Daddy is. Landscape Daddy's not trying to sell jobs to homeowners. You're trying to eventually sell courses and Landscape Daddy swag and that stuff to other. No, it's fine. It's okay. Like, to other, like, why else are you, like, you're trying to generate income from Landscape Daddy. You're not trying to generate sales for NDL.
Unsuccessfully, mind you. Like
Well, that's
I'm not
okay.
making a penny here, but yeah, like it comes to the point where you've worked so hard for your entire adult life that you think maybe there's some low-hanging fruit that we can grab here, something a little easier way to make money when it busted my ass for so long. I think I paid
I
my
don't
dues
I don't
landscaping.
think it is easier.
No.
I think it's like I I played poker for a long time, and then one winter when I got laid off, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna play poker for a living."
Nice.
So I went down into the basement and I was playing $1, $2 tables because I don't need to make millions of dollars to survive, especially back then. I was looking to maybe win 200-300 bucks a day. If you win 200-300 bucks a day and you play every day and you could have a $1,500 cash week, no taxes. Well, 15 years ago, that wasn't a bad week. You were doing okay. Certainly paid my mortgage, which was like $400 a month. So I started doing it. I was winning. But then I quickly concluded that playing 5 poker tables at once and doing it for like 8 or 9 hours straight to win 300 bucks a day was a lot shittier than just going to work. And it stopped my romantic dream of being a professional poker player. And I think that being a professional influencer, which I think there's a vast amount of hardscape people now that are professional influencers, not professional. They might still have a hardscaping business, but it's not their main source of income. I think that being those people trying to chase the next deal all the time and find the next thing and figure out how to generate more views and provide ROI to all your sponsors and nobody cares. Get an app where you can take pictures of your fucking job sites and spread them to your whole team. Nobody cares. Get the I think that is legit really hard fucking work. I think that if you watch all of those people, at some point they're selling themselves out and doing things they don't believe in and using equipment in ways that it doesn't make any sense and isn't efficient, but they got that many fucking views that week, or they got that many stories about that item or whatever it is. I think that goes on every day all over the place. And I don't think that that's an easier way to generate money than how I generate money now. And I don't know that those people pay any faster than the fucking people I work for now.
No, you're right. And let me walk it back a bit. When I said it was an easier way to make money, I realize now that's not the case, right? Like I don't think that I'm gonna make natural design money running a fucking little Instagram page or a little YouTube page or
So
whatever,
I don't think
right?
that's true. I think that if you put as much time and effort, you're an interesting person. You have neck tattoos. People, no, hey,
So I'm blacklisted from the start.
No, people want to watch things that aren't their reality. So when someone jumps on the GO train to come home from TD Bank, they don't want to watch someone sitting at their desk doing banking risk management. What they want to watch is the neck tattoo dude running a 20-ton shovel with a tilt rotator, talking out his ass about something. That's what they want to watch. I think that if you said, I'm going to put every ounce of time and effort into Landscape Daddy YouTube that I put into natural designs from day one, you will make lots of money doing it. I don't think you'll enjoy your life as much because I think that just your personality won't like the things you have to do to generate that money. But yeah. I think you could be just as successful doing it because the thing that you have already proved in your life is that you understand 100%. No one cares, work harder.
I like the connection you made there after.
Yeah, circle back.
Yeah, I love how you circle back there.
There you go.
Yeah. I really do.
But you can always outsource those things that you don't like the editing. I'm sure is something that you're not going to like doing.
Using equipment for inane tasks that it's not suited for.
Okay,
such that shit out.
But you don't have to do that.
I think you do.
I don't think so. I don't think you have to.
It just depends who your handlers are, I suppose, right? And sometimes you can choose your handlers, and sometimes The dollar chooses you. So
3 years ago, I got offered a legit. I probably have like, I'm like the guy who doesn't realize that the girl likes him in high school. I think probably I've had lots of people like loosely inquire about me doing things with them on Instagram, but then I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm not smart enough to realize opportunities. Well, we know that for sure. But I had someone offer me a deal that was like $500 a month, plus I got use of whatever they were selling.
On a
But they
recurring
want
basis or one time?
on a recurring basis.
Okay.
You know, probably would have been a monthly subscription. And one of the caveats was that they wanted me to post like I think 4 stories a week about it. I was like, I don't even know anything. I don't even know anything about this to begin with. And I don't particularly like this shit. And we looked at it for a long time, and then I made a video reading the entire contract from start to finish that I was going to post on my Instagram before I entered into this agreement, because I felt like everyone on Instagram deserves to know what I'm getting paid, what my requirements are, what I have to do to earn this $500 a month plus monthly subscription. And when I recorded it, I told Kelly about it, and Kelly emailed the company and said, I don't think Mike's the right guy. I don't think that you want him reading your social media contracts open air on his Instagram.
Yeah.
So, but for me, I was like, I can understand why you start using pieces of equipment to do things that it's totally ridiculous and asinine, because you need to get to that 5 stories that week or whatever the requirements are. You know, if you have a tilt rotator and you have to make 4 stories a week contractually, by the time you get to the end of the month on the 16th story, I'm a pretty creative guy, but I think that even I would start to be like, what can I do with this? Let's see if I can make an omelet. Like
Yeah, there's only so much you can tap that well, right? Like it's got to run dry at some point.
Or you just keep making the same video, or you start doing things with it that you shouldn't be or are irrelevant that no one would ever do. Like I think that coming up with that, I think that people underestimate the amount of creativity it takes to constantly push content out.
Agreed.
And then want high quality content.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought that? Sorry. Have you ever thought of starting Paver King Media? Because you are pretty good at putting out content.
It exists. It doesn't get paid for it.
Yeah. You can start billing other people to create their content.
I think though that like for me, I do it for fun. And once you start, and I also a couple not that time, but a couple other times people have reached out to me and they had all these rules.
Yeah.
And I just, for me as a person, I just knew it wouldn't work. I wouldn't, because if I get an idea in my head, I follow through with it and I do it. And sometimes it's funny and people laugh, or sometimes people are like, oh, I got some value out of that, I guess, periodically. But it was still just my idea that I just started doing, you know, like if I had, let's say I had a sponsorship from Bobcat, right? And I started making those skid steer safety videos. The skid steer safety videos got, for the time, a lot of fucking views and a lot of hype. I don't know if you guys even remember them.
Yeah.
But I was, pretending to do stupid shit with skid steers. That series to me was really funny and I had a great time making it. But would Bobcat really want to be involved with that?
Yeah.
It was making a point about safety every video. but do they want to be involved in that? Like, and so if they give me that's one thing I'll say for Mo from Mammoth Equipment. Like, obviously, he's given me different pieces of equipment to demo. I'm on my third piece of equipment demoing from him now. He's never once told me what I could or couldn't do with the equipment. He was basically like, "Yeah, I don't care. Do whatever you want." So that's why it's fun, right? It's fun to do that but as soon as you start dealing with big, like they have all these rules and you have to do this, and the post has to be at 9:15 in the morning because that's when the ultimate algorithm is, or that's when you're, study. And I also had people reach out to me and be like, "Oh, send me your
media kit
or whatever." Yeah, like send me your
rates.
view. No, your views.
Analytics. Yeah,
and that's what it's. There you go. That's why I might see, Mike, analytics. Send me your analytics. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's my personal shit. Fuck off.
Taco Block asked me for that shit before.
Ooh.
They're like, oh, we want to see if we can have you on. What? Once upon a time, we did a street team thing with them or whatever, right? And then a couple of years lapsed, and then they asked me for that stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna like what you see on Natural Design. I wasn't posting anything. I'm like, here you go. I don't give a shit. But needless to say, we didn't get called back. So
you did for a podcast.
Yeah, I think that was pre-podcast. So,
okay.
I don't know, but that's when I sort of let Natural Design trail off on things. But
would it be interesting if I talked about how I do it at How to Hardscape with my sponsors, or is that too dry now?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, so
that's the topic we're on. Like,
yeah, I just don't want to touch on something.
For the record, Mike, you're the only one with successful sponsors,
and very few, and most. So the way I do it is I've had the most success, obviously, with people that have reached out to me to sponsor, and I send them my media kit, and that includes my analytics across all channels and everything like that. And it also has pre-formed packages. This is what you get for this amount, and it kind of steps up. But everything's tied to the podcast because I see the podcast as the most valuable thing for a company wanting to sponsor. So it's just we publish an episode a week, however many weeks or however many episodes, and then you get these as deliverables on top of that. And that sets expectations right away that they're not going to be the ones that are dictating how or when I post. I'm going to be the one that does all that. Everybody that has reached out afterwards and said, "Hey, what about if we do it this way and we want you to post this amount?" It's basically a no from there. And I've turned down a lot more, way more than I've actually taken on because of that, and just told them that come back if you ever want to, and we'll touch on what we need to do. But the companies that I have reached out to, I still do the same thing where I set expectations of exactly what they're going to get for how much they spend. And yeah, I think that just cuts out any of that. Hey, we want you to post this and we want it to be at this time. I ask for talking points for the script for the ad read, but that's pretty much all I ask from them. Sometimes creative for like stories, Instagram stories, but I tell them like, this is how I do my Instagram stories because this is how I see gets the most amount of engagement. So I tell them like, we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it at a time that I know is going to be right. And you can send me the creative and I might add some things to it, but it takes out all of any questions and I've got complete control basically.
Yeah, puts you in the driver's seat, right? For the whole relationship, which is right where you want to be, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So obviously we lost our biggest customer, right? Which was like over a third of our sales yearly. It just vaporized into nothing and didn't pay us like $250,000. So this year I've started changing my content to those AI generated because that content seems to actually attract people who might be interested in us doing work for them. Like those videos aren't funny. Well, I still snuck in the flying tree thing. So I'm like, who really listens to this whole thing? I wanted to see if someone actually listened to it, but it's maybe that content I'm more sponsorable with because it's not fucking around. But how long can I hold it together? You know, like I don't know if I could take a long term sponsorship from anyone for anything because I just think at some point I would just start making fun of it, no matter what it is.
I think. Well,
that's why Mo switches the machine so fucking fast. He knows my attention span is so fucking short. He's like, oh, I better give him something different before he fucking finds. I don't. I've thought about this a lot because obviously I've been doing this stuff for a really long time, and I don't think I'm a sponsorable person. My best shot at getting any kind of sponsors is with the two of you, because you guys are sponsorable people. I am not. It's proven. Every time I get close to getting a deal where I'm getting sponsored on something, I fuck it up. Perhaps subconsciously, intentionally.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
But from my generation, the thought, like Generation X, the thought of doing that, it makes me feel like the biggest fucking sellout on the planet. Like, because when I was a kid, using your song in a TV commercial was like you were the biggest loser ever. Now it's like you're the greatest thing ever.
You know, kids sign up for it.
Exactly.
You know, like that's their goal, right?
Yeah.
I do think that things have really changed with, well, the internet, but also like social media and that, where everybody is now like their own channel. And you either tune into the channel or you don't. And that's followers and listeners and watchers. Whereas back then it was like cable. You had what, 25 channels, and those were the channels that you could tune into. But nowadays it's like, okay, there's millions of channels out there, and the views are the people actually watching those channels. And now those channels, if they want to make some sort of career out of it or a business out of it, they are taking on ads just like a channel would with cable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's for me to get over my own self.
Or don't. Like, why?
Yeah.
Who's to say you have to?
Oh, I don't say I don't say I have to, but sometimes I'm like, hey, maybe it would be like you said, I put out a lot of content. Like I post a lot of shit. Well, like on my account now, like remember we were talking about I was up to 4,000 posts or whatever. Like that wasn't that long ago. I already have like 4,133.
Wow.
Like, and that's without story. That doesn't include stories. That's just reels, posts, whatever, like video. Like I pump, and that's just on this channel. I'm posting shit on every channel I have: YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, fucking. People are always like Twitter's a waste of time, and like Twitter's how I got the biggest lead ever.
Wow.
I got a $1.5 million job directly from Twitter.
Nice.
Like, so that's why I still post on it. Like I post on it every day. I post on fucking Threads. Who the fuck posts on Threads?
I think I deleted it.
I don't know. I don't know what someone is going to see one of those, especially those AI generated videos that guy fucking hates. Maybe someone will see it and it'll save our fucking season. It saved my season before when everyone said Twitter was a waste of my time and social media was garbage. I was posting on Twitter. I got invited to a wall seminar, not because I was it was all big block wall installers, which are a very specific subsection of landscaping, and Mike. And then they were showing us a small wall. And they were all like, I don't want to do this. I have all the equipment to install big blocks. Why the fuck would I do this? And I was like, I'll do it. I'm stupid. And I don't have all the equipment that those guys have. And that's how we got the Lifetime Fitness contract.
Nice.
$1.5 million. Like right from literally but it was because I took the time. So I don't know. Like maybe sometimes I just think like maybe I should get paid for this shit. The other thing is I don't adapt well to someone who doesn't like my idea. So if you said to me, I want you to help me create Grib videos for Landscape Daddy, and I came to you and said, Chad, I think we should like mix martinis in the Grib. Like stick them in there and spin them around and shake them and then pour them out with the Grib and make martinis, which is actually a good idea. You should
That's
do that.
great.
It is actually. See, this is brilliant.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Next, you're gonna see some fucking EngCon guy out
And
there
I'm gonna
making
fuck-
martinis
Yeah.
with
For
their
the
EC
record,
oil spilling all in the fucking thing, and
Shaken, not
because
stirred.
they never cleaned them right because they never bought a Grib. And this is pre-sponsor me.
Pre-sponsor. Black hoses matter.
Yeah.
But if I brought you that idea as a creative person and you were like, that idea is stupid, I'm not doing it, you know what my reaction would be? How the fuck do I get a hold of Andy Mulder?
Well, see,
that would be my,
is that not a marketing idea? Like, are you not your own marketer then?
No, I don't like it when people tell me I can't, it's not a good idea, or I can't do things. So that's why
So you find a different client that'll let you do what you want to do.
No one will let me do what I want to do. Eventually.
We need our
own media.
Yeah. We need our own product. That's what we need. There's another podcast I listen to. It's like 4 guys that sit down and they're releasing their own tequila. I can't say that word properly. Tequila. What am I saying? What is it?
You're saying tequila. You're saying tequila.
Okay. Because growing up, I always called it tequila. And now I can't get that pronunciation out of it. Tequila.
You've been drinking too much of it.
It was always like the end of the night thing that just puts you over the edge. So tequila. Yeah, they're releasing their own tequila.
Accent on the key.
Tequila.
Yeah, close.
Yeah?
Okay. Close.
Okay, so they're releasing their own tequila. And they're using, so that's what they do. They've created this podcast. They've got this media company essentially. And now they just released their own so that they don't have to take on sponsors.
So that's what we should do with the t-shirts.
Well, merch is kind of like a whole other thing, like an actual product.
Oh, an actual product. So You know what I don't understand about people who just make a tequila? Like, how does that happen? Like, I don't.
No, they don't make it. They just brand it. They get some shitty tequila, and then they say, "Great, this is the cheapest thing we can get. Let's add a spice to it and fucking slap our name on it, and it's our proprietary tequila."
Have you guys seen the jug of vodka from Alberta yet?